hey, it's Patrick. We're going to do some nice little tuck handstand drills to help you play with maybe a different way to get into handstand. A lot of times I see people jumping off one foot, which is a really cool way to enter. Today we're going to jump off two and just play with that tucking motion. Know that if you really are at that point where you can only jump off one foot, that's totally fine. Work a lot of this stuff at the wall or hold your hands in and then work on tucks down. We'll obviously get to that as we progress. But first, make your way onto your hands. I'd imagine you should be a little bit warm. We won't warm up much in this video, so if you haven't warmed up yet, take the previous video where we do warm-ups for hands and core so that you're ready to go upside down, because those are two things that make going upside down a much more successful process for your body. So go ahead and find your hands on the mat if you're ready to roll. Bring the toes under, squeeze the knees in, and try and keep this really small shape. So if you like to tuck from or jump into your handstand with your feet a little bit back, know that that's okay, but over the course of this movement, let's try and move the feet closer and closer towards the hands. That only moves you into a position that's closer to a forward fold, Uttanasana. And the reason you want to do that is because it's much easier to add your handstand into a sun salutation and work, press the handstand over time. Palms flat. Rise up onto the toes, hug the knees together. Try and keep the knees squeezing to the midline. And let's just take 5 little hops. So if you can catch it on the first one, catch it and hold it in the tuck. Don't go any higher. In fact, try and stay as low as possible. So hop, and hop, and hop, and hop, and hop, and hop. Hold if you can for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1. Feet down to floor. Cool, you got a handstand, nice job. So the next variation, we're gonna hop into it again, but this time we created that really small shape. We wanna catch that first, and we wanna work on lifting the knees up, moving the hips in, but again, not going higher, then bringing the knees in, moving the hips back, and playing with that lift and leverage, movement in your body. Hands flat, toes tucked, knees into chest. Remember, maybe this time bring those feet in a little bit closer. Your body's starting to warm up quite quickly. I assume handstands get you warm faster than pretty much anything you can do. So palms flat, ground into the hands, hug the forearms, and gaze stays down in between the hands. Focus on keeping your arms straight, especially on moving upside down. And hop. So if you caught the hop, cool, hold the position. If not, give it a few more jumps. If you're having a hard time getting upside down, try and jump off 2 feet, but let your butt touch the wall first. And then drop the knees to the rib cage and lift the legs back up to close to a 90. And drop the knees to the rib cage and lift up close to 90. And drop knees to rib cage and slowly set the feet down. Beautiful. So what that helps you do is activate your lower belly, creating the space to bring your knees to your rib cage, which again makes it a bit more accessible. And also learning the position. So taking that just one step further, we're going to do the exact same thing, except for our feet are going to be wider than your hands. But we're going to work for the exact same action. One of the cool things that we're doing here is that we're playing with handstand, but in a very low gravity position, right? Straight handstand is a much taller gravity position, which is a bit harder to catch, whereas if you really work these low positions, you can feel how to balance on your hands and the harder strength component, because in these lower positions, you're working your body quite a bit more in terms of the muscles. So it's easy to connect with that a little bit better when you decide to go all the way upside down. So feet as wide as the mat. Palms flat, rise up onto the toes. So notice how my legs, the fronts of my legs are pretty much glued to my rib cage right here. See if you can create that connection yourself. Press into the palms, hold the belly button in, and hop. And maybe hop and hop and hop and hop. And again, try and just hold this really small tucked position for just 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1. Set your feet down. Beautiful job. Allow your body to rest and recover. We've done a lot of things quite quickly in this little video for tuck handstand drills. Last thing we're going to do here in this variation is, again, feet wider. We're going to hop, keep the legs glued to the rib cage as we possibly can, and then we're going to do the lift. So lift halfway, and then come back down to ribcage, lift halfway, come down to ribcage. So we're playing with moving the pelvis. That's really important for learning how to transition through handstands and move in all kinds of different directions. So, palms flat, toes slightly outside the hands, and knees to ribcage. So it's almost like you're a frog, and some people like to bring their feet together in this one. I think it's easier to keep your hips balanced, because when we bring the feet together, one hip drops and one hip is higher, and it's not as symmetrical. Finding symmetry in your body is one of the cool parts of yoga, doing any pose. So working that out. When you're ready, go ahead and give it a hop. Upside down, try and keep the rib cage and the front of the legs glued until you lift the legs up. Yeah, stay active in the feet, whether you flex the toes or point the toes, does not matter to me. And then down, touching, and then back up. And then down, touch the rib cage, and back up. And down, touch the rib cage, and back up. And down, touch the rib cage, and set the feet down right into a squat. Well, so as you can see, this is the handstand position we've been playing with. Shoo! So kind of a fun little thing to know that you're essentially doing the same thing in the squat as you would be in your hand balance. Last little quick two-footed tuck drill. And you guys remember I said this throughout the video, but you can do every single thing we're doing here against the wall. Don't rush yourself into middle room. Take your time. Practice at your own rate, because that's when you're going to find confidence. And the confidence and the comfort of being upside down is what leads to holding positions. Last thing, we are going to tuck. Take it all the way up to handstand this time. Tuck back to the chest. Spread the knees so they're outside of the body. And then lift back up to full handstand. And then come back down. Set the feet down to the floor. So if you want to do that, joining in completing this little mini two-footed hop progression, give it a go. If not, don't even worry about it. No pressure either way. Knees to chest. Remember, bring those feet up as close to the hands as you possibly can. One of the cool things about it is eventually you get more flexible. I'm not flexible in the hamstrings, but you can pretty much two-foot hop or press from anywhere, which is a really beautiful movement through the body. Palms back, ground into the hands, hug the forearms in, rise up onto the toes, lift the belly, which is also another reason I like to have people bring the feet close, because it really makes you use your core. And keep the arms straight, hop up. Hold the tuck for a moment, and then lift it all the way up to your hand balance. Squeeze the belly, reach through the heels. Beautiful. Knees tuck back into chest. Then legs go wide. Legs go all the way up to handstand. Touch the toes. Lift the belly, try and move out of a back bend. If you're in one, spread the feet back wide. Pull the knees in, heels to butt, knees towards armpits, tops of legs towards rib cage. Set the feet down. Arrive right back in your squat. So all that stuff is really quite challenging, but it can be fun and accessible. Remember to practice consistently. I say this all the time at workshops and classes and stuff. Consistency in inverted practice is more important than long time spent in a single day in an inverted practice. So maybe add this video into your routine 2-3 times a week. All of a sudden you'll find much more success than if you just practice it once randomly. Enjoy. Hope you had fun with the little inverted practice, and have a great day.